Working poor. Typically, this class is composed of 9 to 5s that earn around $15,000 to $30,000 every year and can barely afford a proper meal. As of 2023, around 270 to 280 million people worldwide were classified as working poor. That's around 6.9% of the world's population. Even though they make up about 2% of the US total population, people in this class still hold negative net wealth, owing way more than they own. They usually work in restaurants, department stores, and grocery stores, yet still need government support to survive. If you're here, you work full-time, there is a high chance that you get government assistance like food stamps and Medicaid. Indeed, you're part of the millions of full-time workers who rely on federal programs to meet basic needs. You work 40 hours a week, sometimes more, even up to 50 hours, but you check your bank balance before buying groceries or taking a taxi. Your monthly benefits average roughly $4 a day, so you make impossible choices between rent, utilities, and food. And despite working harder than most, you're often just one paycheck away from homelessness. Lower middle class. The lower middle class earns anything from $30,000 to $50,000 annually and is America's largest income bracket. They make up roughly 20% of American households and are the strength of the country's workforce. From a global view, about 61% of the world's population falls into the poor and low income categories, earning less than $10 per day. If you're here, you're a teacher, a police officer, a retail manager, or a skilled tradesperson. You are called the squeezed middle because you earn too much for most government assistance, but also earn too little to pay off basic expenses like healthcare and childcare. Life here feels like walking a tightrope. You're heavily dependent on credit cards for emergencies, with your credit card debt going way above $8,000 per household. Fixing your car or paying off a medical bill could keep you penniless for months. Solid middle class. The solid middle class earns between $70,000 to $150,000 per year and is what we might call America's most aspirational income bracket. They make up roughly 15% of American households, and compared to the lower middle class, they have a much higher educational attainment, professional careers, and a good degree of economic security. In 2020, nearly 15% of the world lived at an upper middle income standard. If you're in this group, you've achieved what your parents might have called making it, but it doesn't always feel that way. You make up the large consumer spending in America. In other words, you're the reason for the economy. You buy cars, appliances, and take family vacations, but you're also carrying a huge student loan debt, which on average is around $40,000 per borrower. Of course, you live comfortably. Dinner out is a weekly treat, you manage to drive a pretty Mustang, and you can handle most emergencies without going into debt. But a major crisis like job loss or serious illness could threaten your lifestyle within months. Upper middle class. These people earn between $120,000 to $200,000 annually. And to be fair, there is very little difference between the solid middle class and the upper middle class. They control roughly 25% of America's total wealth and approximately 8 to 12% of the world's total wealth. Still, here's where your American life starts looking like what movies portray as normal. If you're here, your kids can play multiple sports without feeling any money stress. And of course, groceries are easy peasy for you. There's enough peace of mind for you to think beyond just paying bills. You've maxed out your retirement savings plan contributions, and you've probably heard terms like asset allocation and expense ratios. You live in neighborhoods with better schools, your kids have tutors if they need them, and college isn't a question of if, but where. You also begin using sophisticated financial strategies, working with financial advisors, and thinking about generational wealth transfer. While you aren't rich yet, you might be described as well-to-do. The nearly rich. The nearly rich class earns between $200,000 to $500,000 per year and is America's most financially secure income bracket. By global standards, people who earn around $300,000 every year are considered high earners not rich yet, or Henrys. They make up roughly 5 to 8% of American households and around 7% of the world's population. In this group, we've got senior executives, successful entrepreneurs, and some medical specialists. If you're here, you meet the paradox of American wealth. Even though you earn in the top 5% of Americans, you still feel middle class. Despite your high income, you still live paycheck to paycheck due to lifestyle inflation, high taxes, and expensive housing in major cities. In this class, you face the highest effective tax rate, often paying 35 to 40% of your income in federal, state, and local taxes. After taxes, your $300,000 income might look more like $180,000, but if you live in Manhattan or San Francisco, this should be enough to afford a surprisingly modest lifestyle. Mass affluent. People whose net worth go way above $500,000, even with taxes, have officially crossed the first major wealth threshold. They're classified as the mass affluent. With more than half sitting pretty in their account, they are in America's fastest growing wealth group, increasing by 5 to 8% every year. Globally, this group represents approximately 3 to 4% of the world's adult population and is made up of huge business owners and senior staff who build wealth slowly over 20 to 30-year careers. If you're in this group, this is where money starts working for you instead of the other way around. You do a really chill 9 to 5 and you think generationally about wealth now. You've set up savings to take care of your kids' education, even up to college. You have an estate plan and you understand terms like tax-efficient investing and asset protection. You start gaining access to private client services at banks and investment firms. Bank tellers know your name, airlines always give you free checked bags, and investment minimums that used to exclude you are now accessible. Retirement doesn't even bother you anymore. The question isn't, can I retire, but when do I want to retire and what lifestyle do I want? The Bahamas sounds like a daily resort when you want to rest, and you can sleep well knowing your family's financial security is largely guaranteed. In simple times, you're the most basic definition of being rich, the millionaires. There are approximately 58 million millionaires worldwide, representing about 1.5% of the global adult population. Now the majority, about 67%, are self-made, having built their wealth through business ownership, high-paying careers, or smart investing. If you're in this category, while you're more than just rich, you aren't yet the supreme level of being wealthy. You own multiple properties and have crazy investment portfolios. Suddenly, you're now in something we call the rich clique, and your wealth exceeds the GDP of some small countries. You also begin to take philanthropy seriously. You're invited to charity galas where tables cost more than many families' annual income. You also have access to investment opportunities unavailable to regular investors. You also have a financial advisor who manages not just your investments, but your entire financial life. Meanwhile, your kids' lives are way different from those of middle-class kids, and you are considering buying them cars or houses for an 18th birthday gift, the multi-millionaires. This exclusive group contains approximately 750,000 Americans and 2.7 million people worldwide. In this category are tech entrepreneurs, real estate developers, or inheritors in their wealth-building prime years. If you're here, you're wealthy enough that work becomes optional, and your focus shifts from earning money to managing and preserving it. In simple times, you're called the rich of the rich. You can buy almost anything without checking the price, travel anywhere without budget constraints, and your time is entirely your own. You own multiple homes, possibly including international properties, and you never fly commercial on long trips. Forget owning investments in your country. You are now moving investments in multiple countries, and you have access to deals that most millionaires never even knew existed. Your impact on the economy is significant. Your spending supports luxury industries, your investments fund startup companies and real estate developments, and your philanthropy can transform entire communities. The $100 Million Club. There are only about 10,835 centimillionaires in the United States, so you are literally rarer than some endangered species. This group has grown by 81% over the past decade, making up one of the fastest growing wealth segments globally. If you're at this level, you spend an average of $1 million annually on luxury goods, art, and experiences. You might own a $50 million art collection, and money to you is no longer about acquisition. It's about having something no one else can. Despite being only 3 people out of every 100,000, you wield powerful influence through philanthropy and investment. Your donations can reshape entire industries. You make investment decisions that can make or break companies, and your lifestyle choices influence luxury markets worldwide. Billionaires. There are over 3,000 billionaires worldwide as of 2025, with a record-breaking combined wealth of $16.1 trillion. The United States leads with approximately 835 billionaires, followed by China with 581, making you part of an extraordinarily exclusive elite clique. The top 15 centibillionaires hold $2.4 trillion combined, meaning that even among billionaires, wealth concentration continues at the very top. If you're in this group, while some millionaires are still trying to make money off the stock market, you own the stock market. And at this level, your wealth operates on a scale that defies normal comprehension. You begin to rub shoulders with people like Elon Musk, Bernard Arnault, Mukesh Ambani, and Jack Ma. Your influence extends far beyond personal consumption, and with about $14 trillion combined wealth and assets, you have the power to reshape entire industries with a single investment decision.